MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning. It's Friday. Scotty Ray and Candace, and don't you look like an Easter egg over there?
Yeah, I tried to wear a little floral stuff for Easter today.
It is Easter weekend. Today is Good Friday. There's going to be a lot of things closed, and we'll get into all of that. One of the things that we do want to discuss this morning out of the gate is there is a heap of folks, and there's no other way to word this, that this morning are still sitting in the dark without power. Joining us once again. Good morning, Julie. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Scotty Ray Candace. I'm doing well, all things considered.
Where are we on the situation without power? This is officially day 2, is it not?
Yes, it is. Wednesday, I guess Wednesday night would be day 1, so we're really day 3 at this point, I suppose you could consider it that way, but the second full day, and we have crews out on the ground. We did pull them in late last night because those guys had been working for over 36 hours straight, and for their safety, they needed to go home and get rest. And so we did have to pull them in, but they are already back out there working this morning.
All right, where are we on numbers, and who still has the highest amount of power outages at this point?
We are at just over 1,500 at this point, and we're still seeing a good bit of outages out in the Wynot area, and of course Clarkdale and south of Enterprise. And so it's just really spread out across those areas that were the hardest hit. We do still have some cases up in South Winston County too, around Noxapater.
Glancing at the map here, we see one little road here in Wynot that has 175 and another area that has nearly 300 on it. So that's about where that tornado path, if you look at this, it moved northeasterly across the southern portion of the county.
That's right. You can when you get a look at our outage map, especially right after a storm hits, it's obvious right where the storm went through.
Now, north of us, as you mentioned there, we go up here in Winston County. There's still a few people there. Not a lot, but y'all are getting those numbers dwindled down as well.
That's right. And we do have assistance. We had contract crews from MDR Construction helping our guys yesterday. We also have right-of-way contractors helping. And then today we actually have assistance from Natchez Trace Electric, Singing River Electric. Both of those are other electric co-ops in Mississippi. And then we have Tallapoosa River Electric and Covington Electric from Alabama.
Yeah, we appreciate them. Now, I just pulled up the list of the counties of the breakdown there where you can see that. And Clark and Lauderdale are pretty close on the amount of outages.
That's right. Yeah, Clark and Lauderdale are really the hardest hit areas that we're seeing, and that would, that includes our Clarkdale and our Wynot areas. Winston County we should get them restored. Our goal really for today is we should knock our outages down by over half today. We will still have some that will probably extend into tomorrow. We're just going to be up front. There's some areas, especially west of Clarkdale and some areas in the Wynot community that are just really badly damaged, and we could see some more restoration into tomorrow morning.
Now, let me ask this. You had any trouble so far with generators, everybody doing the right thing? Have y'all ran into any that were wired wrong, or does everything look good so far?
I'm not aware of any issues with generators that we have come across, but we do want to remind people. I've got a couple of reminders, actually, that I need to just get out to folks just as a reminder to slow down when you see our crews working along the roadsides. That's been an issue we have. Scotty Ray, you and I were talking about it before we went on this morning. We have had a couple of incidences yesterday where people were just driving too fast and collided with our trucks or our equipment. So don't have a lot of details on those or where the locations were at this point. But we just please ask people to be aware. And if you don't have to be traveling today in areas that are heavily damaged or where crews are working, then don't. There'll be plenty of time to get out, once power has been restored and look at the damage. But today is really just not the day.
Yeah, and then you factor in somebody that, and heaven forbid somebody looking at their cell phone. That even causes a worse situation there.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. All of these guys working, they have families at home that are worried about them, that are praying for them, and they're looking for them to come home and have Easter together this weekend. And so we just ask the public to please help us make sure that we keep these guys safe.
Now, your best guesstimate, and we all know that things can change, so we're not going to hold you to this. Would you estimate that most of everybody will have power back on by Easter morning?
Yes, we do believe so. At this point, we're thinking most people should get power today. We will still have possibly 400 or 500 that are still without power into tomorrow morning. But tomorrow morning really should be getting those last ones on before we get another round of storms over the weekend.
And again, let me say this on behalf of everybody. We can't thank you enough and all the guys that go behind the scenes that are out there and in these conditions of what they do. We want to just say a big thank you for everything that y'all do.
Yes.
Absolutely. We're proud to serve our community. And one more quick reminder for folks, too, is those that are within the damaged areas and they're out and they're cleaning up and they've got their chainsaws and they're clearing debris. If you come across any lines, of course, we all know to stay away from power lines, but we also have our fiber business, East Mississippi Connect, and we do have fiber lines that are down on the ground. Please do not cut those lines.
That would be a mess, wouldn't it?
We're also experiencing a internet outage and equipment in the Clarkdale areas, and that is a result not of the storm. The fiber actually sustained through the storm, but during cleanup, at some point somebody cut our fiber, and that has caused an outage there. So it slows down restoration. It increases our repair costs to have to replace that fiber that's cut. So if you see it, please just give us a call and report it, and don't cut it.
Another thing that I saw is that a grant is going to be going to some local colleges that train the guys that come to work for y'all. That's a upbeat thing. That's good to see that so many people want to join and be a part of what y'all do.
Absolutely. It's times like these that everybody really comes together, and it's great camaraderie, and it makes the guys feel good to know that they are doing something that provides such an important service to our community.
So do y'all have light pole challenges? Who can climb the pole at picnics there to see who can get to the top the quickest?
We have not, at least not since I've been here, but that's not a bad idea.
A prize to who can get to the top, ring the bell the first. Well, Julie, thank you so much, and for everything that EMEPA does. Thank you for joining us and give us an update. It looks good. It's so good to hear from your voice this morning.
Well, thank you, Scotty Ray and Candace. We appreciate you guys getting the information out there.
All right, we'll be in touch, and thanks a lot, girl.
All right, thank you.
Again, EMEPA, Julie Bowles telling us of what's going on this morning on everything, and it is looking good. Easter Sunday, everybody should have their power back on.
Right.
Seems like everything's just a little quieter. It's Good Friday. We hope everything remains that way.
This has felt like a Saturday all morning to me. I don't know why.
It will throw you off. You get a little bit of out of loop. And
I guess because I took off this morning from my other job. So, I don't know.
Well,
maybe.
Nothing wrong with taking a little time off and enjoying yourself as we look around there. But again, 1,500 people right there. And let me do this. Let me go back over here and look at the statewide to see where we are statewide. I hadn't brought that up in a while as to where we're at. Let me show that. Let me get back over here. You have to flip a few buttons before you get to back where you were. But here we go. Mississippi. We're looking at, so you can see what I'm looking at. Mississippi as a whole is at 3,300. If you remember, we were at 30,000. Right. Was it yesterday morning?
I think so. There was a lot all through the state.
And you pull this up and you get into the counties, and we're looking at Clark and Lauderdale being the biggest, and then Winston County following that. So there you go. We're getting that done. Then up here at the north part, there's 700 people in Alcorn County at the top of the county. So Mississippi recovering, coming back together. That's good. But we have that but word we have to use this morning. We'll tell you more about it here in just a little while as we brace for more severe weather. Matter of fact, well, let's go ahead and get the bad news out of the way. Why don't we do that? We've got a level 1 weather event coming in on Saturday. And here's what we know so far. Let me make it where you can see it. This is going to be Alabama. Let me go on up here and pull this up for Meridian. Here's Meridian. This is Saturday. It's going to be from 7 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This will affect Easter egg hunts. So if you've got one, I know the city of Meridian had a couple planned. I have not heard if they're going to be changing that or not. If they do, we'll ask them to pass that along to us, and we'll get that information to you quickly. Now, that's a level 1. Now, with both days, as we look here at Sunday afternoon, this is what we're expecting, a level 2 now. This includes Clark, Lauderdale, and also portions of Kemper, Olive, Neshoba. And what does that mean? And I brought this up earlier. If your home is damaged, especially why not Southern Lauderdale County, and your roof is exposed, you need today to go plan and track down some tarps to put over that, because workers can't get there that quick.
Right.
And you don't want the rest of your stuff wet. And an umbrella is not going to cut it.
Yeah. I spoke to somebody yesterday that their one of their employees' roof got completely blown off, and then it rained all in their house, So it will mess up a lot of stuff.
Well, it's what's that old saying?
And they were in there when it happened, too.
When you're down, you're sometimes kicked even more.
Kick you when you're down.
And boy, this neighborhood, we need to be living right, y'all. We've had storms.
Right.
This is the 5th time. It doesn't wait till next week. It just comes on this week. And with this being said, as I talk about these tarps, look at this, Candace. Flash flooding Saturday and Sunday. So the guys that are restoring power into Saturday morning could get wet. That's what we're looking at.
I know we give them credit all the time when they're out there doing this stuff, but they still do not get enough credit.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you. I mean, the jobs that they do, just watching when ours had to be restored in our backyard, just sitting there watching all of what they do, it's so intense.
Right.
Working with all that, and to know what you're doing, means everything,
So keep them in mind. Drive slower. We don't want anybody hurt. And if you're looking around at your house and going, well, I don't like this no more. I've had 2 of them in this neighborhood. You want a new home? Talk to our friends at Snowden & Company. She'll locate you another location.
Yeah.
Find you exactly what you're looking for. With all seriousness, whether it's buying or selling, they're there for you on both sides of this. Maybe you're going to sell one, buy another one, or you just, it's time to get rid of mom and dad's home. Whatever the case is, they do this for you and helping you. Lamar and Diane sold their home. Rachel and Alan. And the list of people that deal with them on a daily basis is just phenomenal. Good people, trustworthy, born right here in this area. All of them. They're not out-of-town people. Right,
and you want to take advantage of the still low right now interest rates. Go ahead and give them a call.
Call them for an appointment. They're not going to be open. They can help you out. Easter weekend here, most likely going to be hard to line things up as everybody spends time with their family. They'll be back at it next week there as we track this. Beautiful homes, whatever you're looking for modular homes, if you need land, or for a business. They got all this. Snowden & Company, you'll find them in town. Call them at 453-3937. Here's Amanda and her big team that help you out there. Be in touch with them today and get your new future started with them.
I grew up on this farm. My dad was a farmer. My granddaddy, too. I was always pretty proud of that. It's not easy work, but we helped feed Mississippi. When my truck was hit by a company vehicle, I thought I was going to have to sell the farm. Thanks to Richard Schwartz, I didn't have to. He handled my case and reached a settlement that saved my farm and my way of life.
Remember, I'm your Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz. I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk. Welcome back. We are Scotty Ray and Candace as we begin this. You were telling me the Easter egg hunt. What was that?
Somebody had posted, Karen Palmer posted Long Creek Baptist Church will have Easter egg hunt, rain or shine, starting at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
So make it out for that. Okay, we'll watch that, and we'll let you know if any others change their course or direction of what's going on. I got this, and I thought I'd share this. You can find this on sammedia.network if you want to read more about it. But as things happen, yesterday was a busy day, and this was sent to me, and I have to be honest about what I've done. I it got buried in what I was doing, and I didn't remember it until first thing this morning to post it. But we had somebody that was bumped with a car versus a bicycle yesterday, and as we go to the webpage to take a look at this was there at 18th Avenue, B Street, there at the bottom of the bridge there. Someone was bumped. Not life-threatening, but still a bicycle incident there.
Right.
Slowed down traffic for a little bit.
A little bump could be bad on a bicycle from a car.
They were taken to the hospital. I think everything's going to be okay. We haven't heard after they left the scene, but that did happen in our community yesterday. I thought you might want to know about that as well. It was a busy afternoon with fender benders and things.
Goodness. I don't know if everybody just don't pay attention or if they're just too fast going where they're trying to get to go. I don't get, you know what I'm saying?
This is the four-way stop out at Planet Playground. Right there, right off of Highway 39. There's the water tower there. Little fender bender there yesterday afternoon. Messed up the front of that car. Going to have some additional look there. The popo on the scene is the slang word for that.
Yeah.
I think everybody was okay, but Metro showed up to help out and take a look at that as well. Let's jump over. I went to let me do this because I wanted to say hello to her. I went to a press conference yesterday afternoon, and I'm going to show you some footage from that in just a second here. But I met this young lady. She was hanging out at the Meridian Police Department there, and she spoke to me. She said, "Scotty Ray, is that you?" And I said, "Who are you?" And she said, "I'm Queenie." And I got to meet her. She was there yesterday, and we bumped into each other in the lobby. So sweet. She says she watches us every morning, and I wanted to say hello and good morning to her. We do appreciate you.
Yes, good morning.
Rita Jack was over there taping up a box. I watched that for a few moments, and I thought I better leave before they want to keep me. So I went on out the door and got away from everything. But it was.
I did see a little bit of the press conference, from the.
Yeah, let's see here.
Footage from it.
And let's go here. We'll start with the charges. Several arrests and charges, capital murder, as we go down to the Meridian Police Department yesterday morning here. And let's join the chief here as she describes what is going on. Let me make sure I've got it.
Good evening. We'd like to talk about and let the public know that we have made some arrests in 2 homicides. First, the murder of Talamon Edwards and Albert Carpenter Jr. On May 29, 2019, Mr. Edwards and Mr. Carpenter were shot and killed in the area of 22nd Street and Royal Road. 2 arrests were made, and after receiving information from the public and video evidence, it was determined that 2 original suspects did not act alone. After further investigation, it was determined that Myson Mosley, Tavion Ratcliffe, and Jaquan Ratcliffe were arrested for their parts in the murder and robbery of Talamon Edwards and Albert Carpenter Jr. They were each charged with 2 counts of capital murder each and not eligible for a bond at this time. We have also made arrests in the Daquan Martin case. August 27, 2020, Daquan Martin was reported missing. September 3rd, 2020, Mr. Martin's body was located. Evidence and investigation proved that Honorius Campbell and Myson Mosley played a part in the murder of Daquan Martin. Myson Mosley and Honorio Campbell are charged with first-degree murder and are not eligible for bond at this time. This investigation is ongoing pending further arrest. We would like to thank the public for your assistance in these arrests. We would also like to let the public know that those individuals that are acting as nuisance within this community, it will not be tolerated. We will be seeking a maximum penalty for any and all criminal activity, such as gun violence and gang activity here in Meridian.
Now, without a doubt, that is probably the strongest words we've heard from the Meridian Police Department since we've seen this, is the word era of some bad things going on.
Right.
So that's good to hear.
It is good to hear.
That a line has been drawn. Now, as we also got into this, it was a few questions that was asked of the chief, and I should have bumped up the volume a little bit higher on that. I could have. And let's look at this of what was said yesterday afternoon. Also, as we go back over to take a look here, let me hit play on that. Police Chief Deborah Young was asked what the Meridian Police Department is doing to combat crime in the Queen City.
I can't give you many details on that because we don't want to give out too much information, but we are working with other units here to hit some of these areas, and we're just tired of all of this gun violence that's going on.
What do you say to the people? Let's take what happened on Highway 19 across from the bank the other day, where two guys shot at one another, one shot at the other. What do you say to the average person that's at home that goes to town, they go out to eat, goes to the bank? What do you tell them about their safety? Where are we in Meridian on situations like this to stop people from just broad daylight doing this?
Well, I have family that comes here and shops. I have family that comes here and visits. I got family that lives here. When I say I and the other individuals that work at this police department are tired of it, if it don't stop, it's just going to have to be more stiffer consequences.
That's Detective Ricky Robinson with the Meridian Police Department. And we do hope it's stiffer. When you break a crime, you do something, you're caught, you're made an example of to where somebody else didn't want to do it.
Well, I mean, I think, not having stiffer penalties up until this point, I think is what's caused a lot of the ongoing crime to happen, Mm-hmm. So I'm like you said, I'm glad that they have drawn a line and have put that out there that it's not going to be tolerated.
Let's hope that continues and that more arrests follow this. Mm-hmm. Bad guys or bad women or whatever you want to call them are taken off the street. That is our hope. We want that to be handled there.
I mean, it's just, you don't want your city to be tarnished by this kind of crime and this kind of stuff going on. And to not want to even go out to eat or go places, you feel uncomfortable. It shouldn't be that way.
That's right.
Anyway.
I think everybody would second you on that,
right,
and agree with you on that. We've got to put an end to it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to feel safe wherever you go. It's like you take New York. Nobody wants to go there anymore.
Yeah.
Don't feel safe. Perception is everything, and that's where we've got to change this. Things have to happen there.
But people working together to help solve these crimes, like the police chief said, it took people working together.
It did.
Whether you need to give a call, like anonymously, and give some information, I'm sure anything like that is welcome.
Mm-hmm. Be glad to. Now, we had another situation. You and I have not had a chance to talk about this individually before we went live this morning. But this happened yesterday afternoon. As a matter of fact, I was in the parking lot of Meridian Police Department when Eric called me back from Neshoba County, and we started talking about a situation that happened in Neshoba County. And as we go to this, it's serious. Eric Clark is not putting up with anybody doing things wrong in Neshoba County. This happened at Neshoba Central High School yesterday. It was a little spooky, a little scary. Yeah. As we pull this up, 3 juveniles were arrested yesterday. Now, what went on? Well, as we dig into this, the football players were practicing on the field. Mm-hmm. And they started noticing something wasn't right. 3 people were hidden in the wood line. And what they were doing, they were using assault-type BB guns and CO2 pistols to shoot at the players. Now, you can get hurt pretty bad by these. It's a serious matter. Those CO2 cartridges sting and can penetrate. Mm-hmm. They used dogs to track them, followed them right to where they lived. Arrests were made on this. No one was injured. One of the players was transported to a hospital to be checked out. Mm-hmm. We had 1 shot in the neck area. We had 1 in the back and then another in the ankle. Everybody's okay, not life-threatening at all, but think about that.
I mean, what if you just shot him in the face or the
right?
I mean, it could have been dangerous. I mean, well, it was dangerous, but it could have been fatal. No. I mean, if hit in the right spot. I mean,
also, as we found out after the police tracked them down, guess what they found? Let's see, marijuana on them along with drug paraphernalia. They were not students of that school. They actually went to another school in the Philadelphia area. Why they done this, we don't know. But zero tolerance. As you go from the city of Philadelphia, Eric Lyons, he's got a line. You look at what we post every week with their arrest reports, whether you're dealing with Neshoba County or the city. It's a line. They're not putting up with crime. They're going to arrest you.
I think people are sick of this mess everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just sick of it. And like I said a while back, it's going to reach a point and people are going to start fighting back about it.
Yeah.
They're going to start taking matters into their own hands, which could be bad, But it takes everybody working together to keep everybody safe.
That's the news from Neshoba County as we look at that this morning. No tolerance. But that was scary. And I'm sure if you were a parent and you got that message, you were going, oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to read more about it, we've got it here. We broke that story yesterday afternoon. Again, at sammedia.network where you can read that. And there's so many other stories that happen that are out there. Sometimes it gets caught up in the news feed on Facebook and you don't see it. But you can go to the webpage and do that. Take a look at that. Now, let's do something else. Let's go to footage. I showed this earlier this morning. But we want to go back and show this of the tornado damage that happened out at Clarkdale. We've heard all about Clarkdale got a pretty big hit. Well, we've got drone footage of it. Let's pull this up. This is also on the webpage where you can go. Let's blow this up, and we'll pick up about right here. As you notice, right here on the side of your screen is where trees start seeing damage. Out in this area is the hardest hit. Now, there's windows and damage to roofs all throughout the school, but the most extensive damage is out here by the ball field. Let's go to the drone and show you what this looks like. Isn't that neat how that comes across, Candace? And as you'll see, look at those trees below right here.
Goodness.
Now, look at the extensive damage coming up on that. That's totally destroyed right there. As you can see, the ball field is going to have damage. All of the bleachers, all of the outlying area, the fence gone. Look at over here, all of that damaged. And as you get closer and closer, damage here, all through there. And a miracle, as we look at this, that no one was severely injured. Can you believe that?
And thank goodness that it wasn't during school hours,
Right.
too, when the kids were at school.
And that's an overview of the school there, the damage. You can see the roofs just glancing there.
Goodness.
Right out there, all that damage there. But Clarkdale has taken hit after hit over the last 2 weeks. Each one of these have had damage.
And, like I heard last night, I don't know if it was the principal talking about it, they're getting ready for state testing also in the middle of all this, trying to get these kids back in the school to where they can do the testing that they need to do. So,
now, we did get a comment there from Gabby that brought up that the lady that was entrapped in the house where the tree fell on it, she had leg trouble and she's going to be transferred to Jackson, she says.
okay.
So the best of care for her. Yes. Now, let me show you this. This is also some more drone footage. And drones just really show the extent damage of what happens here. This is going to be County Road 350. And let's pull this up here. Let's take a look and play this for you. Let me expand that where it takes up the whole screen. And here we go. Look at this home below this. Now, we have confirmation in Clark County it was an EF2. Is it near Lauderdale County?
Goodness.
It's a possibility that this could be more. The National Weather, look at all that damage.
Yes.
The National Weather Service has not told us yet. Look at this roof. That's extensive damage. And you look at this, just how a tornado scatters it. I stress to you when I do weather, when we tell you to get to a safe place, do that, because this can happen so quick and be down on you before you have time to blink. So as we have time to plan, make sure to go to your safe places when weather is getting bad and be absolutely prepared for what comes. Right. We were fortunate.
Yeah.
Now, again, the severe weather that we have coming in this weekend, we have a level 1 tomorrow and a level 2. There is possibilities of tornadoes on Sunday. We don't want to rule that out. It is not a major tornado event, but can they happen? Yes, they can. These lines of 1 and 2 really are imaginary, but the severity could be there. So we'll watch it. It's not going to be like this last weekend, but nonetheless, we want you to be prepared, know what's coming there. If you're going to a bank today, you can pretty much forget it. It's Good Friday. You ain't getting nothing out.
Right. Yesterday felt like Friday. Like I said, this morning it felt like Saturday today. I don't know. Like I said, I guess it's because I maybe took off.
It's a mind thing. When you have a child that's out of school, and that really, I think,
It's
trains
like
you to What you think?
Feels like the weekend.
A
Yeah.
3-day weekend. I wonder what
But
those
since
are like.
people are I don't know, I guess everybody's not off today, but if you are off, you might want to take advantage of the clear weather today if you want to do something with your kids for Easter or cook out this evening.
Right.
Because tomorrow might not be so good.
Yeah, you might want to change that. Do a little
Yeah.
Easter egg hunt late this afternoon around the house there. Well, there we go there. Let's see here. They're talking about Bill doing some gospel music. I hope, Bill, you do a good job with that.
Yeah.
I thought I saw somewhere where you're going to do a gospel singing. Always love gospel music. It is wonderful.
It reminds me of my grandfather. He loved gospel music. So.
But, music tells stories, and music does not have to be boring. I've heard so many people go, "Oh, Lord, some of that church music." Mm-hmm. It is what you make of music. There's different styles. There's country gospel that is just incredible. Mm-hmm. You go with I Saw the Light. You think about how many souls Hank Williams actually saved. Right. He may have had his problems and issues in life, but God used that man. God doesn't use perfect people to save other people. Hank was a prime example of that, of I Saw the Light. It just goes on and on with the Gospels of Luke the Drifter that went out and touched so many people.
I think people, a lot of times they feel like, on both sides of the fence, people who could be brought to Christ, they think that people are perfect.
Yeah, you're not.
Who go to church or who, are Christians. Nobody's perfect. And I think God uses all of us through our lives and our negative parts of our life, stuff that we've gone through. It gives us a good testimony to talk to other people about God and bring other people to know Christ.
I'm still trying to figure out what God's going to do with me every day.
I always say I'm a work in progress. So.
Bill said he's going to be with Brother Chris tonight singing. Chris is a great guy. I spoke with Chris this morning up in Linville, United Methodist Church there. You can't miss them. They're going to have a great singing. Hope you can join it and watch them. Be a fun time. Hang close. We've got so much more information coming up this morning as we start a new day. It is Good Friday. And you get a little hallelujah every once in a while. So glad that you're a part of this with us. We'll be back with more. Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need. With a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
Good morning. I'm Scotty Ray, and this is Candace, and I want you to get us confused. The names, it'd be easy to try to pick out who is who.
Yeah.
If this is your first time watching, we say welcome. Glad you're a part of that. We'd love to see you. This is one of the only places that you can have interaction with us while we're live on television and on Facebook at the same time. So you can interact and we can talk to you live right here, right through your television there.
It's always a pleasure, being here and seeing all the comments and stuff.
Right.
Y'all help us out too every day.
Well, let's look at what went on today in history as we do every day. There's some interesting facts that happened. It was a Black Friday, you could so to speak, in Washington, D.C. 1865, it would be the morning that Abraham Lincoln passed away. He was shot the day before and succumbed to his injuries from the gunshot wound that happened there and changed the course of America without a doubt. I think he had a more lenient plan for the South than what happened. Reconstruction came after that. Lincoln was not there. As you'll remember, when the war was announced, and he walked out on the White House balcony to announce it, what did he do? He asked the band to play Dixie as a way for the nation to heal and come back together. He would not make it after that. Another tragedy happened in American history a few years after that. They said it could happen, but it did. As we go, the Titanic sank. It was struck right before midnight on the 14th, and in the wee hours of the morning, she sank. A couple hours later there, right after midnight, she went on down to the bottom of the oceans, and it would be years before we got that movie, and of course then got to actually see what it looked like on the bottom of the ocean.
I think this is why I don't want to go on a cruise.
Things have changed by then, since then.
I know, but my luck,
This goes to show, never go to bragging, and they bragged that ship was unsinkable.
Yeah.
It was a lot of things that went wrong. As you go back to things in history of the signs of take precaution, it wasn't.
I don't know how much accuracy is in the movie as to real life, but do you remember the scene in the movie when they're going down and the crew is still the people are still playing the music?
I think that was fact to that.
It's so eerie
now,
to me.
you do know
imagine?
that a few years later on, that violin was found. It was given to that guy's fiance. It stayed in a attic for years and years and was donated to a charity, and a guy found it, and he figured out what it was, and it sold for millions. And so that violin actually, as she sank there.
Yeah. And the captain, even in the movie, went back to where he was, to manning the ship.
The captain is supposed to go down with the ship.
Yeah.
I don't think I would make a great captain. I'd be screaming with the ladies, y'all move over, let me sit with you.
Me too.
There's room
Me too.
for
I'd be
all.
diving for one of those boats, but,
And that would, a lot was learned from that. We got lifeboats after that.
Yeah.
It set the standard of you got to have enough for everybody on board.
Yes.
There you go. This was one of the most beautiful women that ever graced a television set. She was pretty. There's no other way to word it. She'd twitch her nose and we'd go, whoa, hey, look at her. We're talking about Elizabeth Montgomery, Sam, Samantha.
I had her autograph at one point.
And what'd you do with
on
it?
a piece of paper? I have no idea. Because it was given to me when I was younger by my dad because he worked on the Amtrak. And she rode the Amtrak.
And you didn't take care of it, is what it sounds
I know.
like to
Well,
me.
I was young and I was a little kid, and there's no telling where it went. But yeah, I did. I had her autograph.
Beautiful lady there. Well, did you like Darren #1 or Darren #2 better?
I guess the first one.
I'm with Bo Big
Because,
Ears.
yeah,
I liked him
yeah.
better.
The other one just I don't know.
I never felt a bond with him. That first one, you could. And Larry, the salesman, he was always after the sale. And what was the lady that lived next door?
Oh,
Is it Mrs. Krabs? Is that right? Something like that.
I don't know what he called it. The husband always said, "Get away from the window." She was always looking out the window.
I think Krabs or something like that.
She would always see what Samantha was doing. She would see the little magic things that she did, and then the husband would come look, and it'd never be.
Well.
He'd be like, "You're losing your mind."
And you're right. The mother-in-law did call him Derwin. It was a fun show. Enjoyed it. As we move to the Kravitz, yeah, that's it. Kim, thank you.
Remember
Everybody saying
Esmeralda?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what was that? The sister Esmeralda.
Yeah,
Now,
which
who
was
the
also
mother's name? I can't remember what the mother's
The
name.
redhead. She was tough. It'll come to me there. Let's see here. First Darren was the best. Everybody's agreeing with that.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Since Diane Adkins said Gladys. I don't know.
Yeah, that was her first name.
Okay. Yeah.
Gladys Kravitz.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be right there.
Does anybody have a Gladys living next door to?
Well, you live a few miles from me.
Just always looking out the window.
As we go to our next celebrity that was born on this date, it was 1933. Now, I can't say that I really liked any of his music. It was a little different. Thank God and Greyhound She's Gone is what I'm referring to. But he would become, he was very funny. I liked him on the TV show. One of the best guitar players that Nashville ever turned out. Who am I talking about? Roy Clark was born on this date. Yesterday When I Was Young was his biggest hit, which I have to really, really force myself to listen to that. It's just not my kind of thing. But you may have liked, but he was great on Hee Haw. You have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Endora, that's what the mom's name was.
Endora.
Endora.
Okay.
All right. It would be 1958 that you would wake up, because this was going to be released to radio today. It was a big deal. It would shake Memphis up really quick, and then it would spread to all parts of the United States, and he still is in Mississippi, as a matter of fact. A whole lot of shaking going on was released on this. Jerry Lee, the Killer. He really did shape music in the way it was. A true legend, without a doubt.
I wonder how old he is now.
That'd be pretty easy to Google.
Yeah.
I don't have my Google in front of me at the moment there, but Jerry Lee, he had a yard sale not long ago. I know Eddie Seifel went up to it. He posted pictures. The Killer had a yard sale. Anybody could go to it.
Huh.
I'm sure you got some great deals. It'd be pretty neat to have something that the Killer had.
It would. Yeah, that'd be neat.
Always remember this, because I've watched Pawn Stars enough. Make sure you get documentation that you got it from them, or it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
Take a picture. I've learned that. 1964, who remembers this? It would be the very final show that they aired tonight. And we're talking the last episode of Flipper.
I used to watch that.
He just talked to him like he knew what was going on. Flipper. I wonder what happened to Flipper. No remakes of that show. I was a kid, but I remember it well. And this would really, you had other songs, but this is what established this man as a country artist. And it would be hit after hit after hit after this. And a Barstool, Toledo. Here we go. Kenny Rogers. Lucille became number one.
Picked a fine time to leave.
4 hungry kids and a crop in the field.
I remember that song when I was growing up. We used to listen to Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and all that. When
I was never a fan of Islands in the Stream, and I know that was a big song.
I know, but I mean,
it was very pop.
I know. But both of them on their own had great songs.
Well, and they had good songs together. And who could forget Kenny Rogers doing it with Dottie West of Daytime Friends and Nighttime Lovers? His trembling hands dial the telephone. You're like painting the picture there going, ho, ho.
Yeah, Laura Lee said, Lady.
Lady, you're my night.
And who was it? Lionel Richie also.
He produced a lot of the songs that come out. One of the Bee Gees, I think, actually wrote that Islands in the Stream song that I love.
That sounds like a Bee Gees.
I try to break the radio knob every time.
You don't like
the
Bee Gees, though.
No. We found out from Joyce Godwin, 86 is what the Killer is.
Okay.
And still going at it.
86.
Bill says he bought his patio set. Now, how neat is that to own the Killer's patio set?
That would be neat.
Yeah.
Look, if he's having another one, y'all need to let us know. Right up there.
Saw him in the 60s at the post office.
Was he there when he had the yard
yeah.
sale? So does he speak to everybody? And
From what I understand, Eddie's pictures that I saw, it was just a laid-back yard sale. Come on in.
All right.
There you go. Let's see here. 1970, as a kid being in first grade, I remember being at Northeast High Elementary out there on Newell Road, and they rolled the TV in. It was black and white, and they put this on. And being from Scuba, Mississippi, I had never seen this because we didn't get many channels back then. You couldn't even get the PBS channel.
I watched this and Sesame Street all the time.
The final episode aired, but they would do the reruns forever and a day, and that's where we would meet Morgan Freeman for one of the first times, the electric company.
I cannot remember the movie, but I remember seeing him in a movie and going, isn't that guy from the electric company? You know, who would have known that he would have been one of the best actors that we've seen on screen? I mean, I love watching
his
him.
His voice is just undistinguishable. And he is what he is. I've met him many times, and I have to say that Morgan is one of the nicest people. There's some people that you see on TV, and then you bump into, you go, that was the rudest person. I don't like him anymore. He is not that way. He is a gentleman among gentlemen. I give the best kudos to Morgan Freeman of anyone I've ever met.
Now, he lives in Mississippi also and has a restaurant or something, doesn't he?
Restaurant, the Ground Zero, if I'm not making. I've been there. We were up for a video. Me and Debbie went up. Steve Azar filmed a video in there and hung out with Morgan for days and filmed it inside the nightclub there.
Okay.
It was fun. A lot of celebrities came through. Bobby Blue Bland, and Debbie had to tell me who Bobby Blue Bland was because I didn't know. There was kind of like that night we were at a party, and I was country. When I tell you country is not the word I am, Britney Spears was sitting next to me, and I had no idea that's who it was, and she had to tell me that.
Oh, really?
And so we got back to the car, and I go, well, who's Britney Spears?
Okay. Goodness.
As days gone by, back in the day.
Where is it in Mississippi that Morgan Freeman lives?
It would
it's
be
not Greenville.
It's in that area,
yeah.
Greenville, Greenwood. I think it's Greenville. I'd have to look at it on a map. Doe's Restaurant is up there also. If you ever get an opportunity to eat there, you have to go through the kitchen to sit down to eat. it got grandfathered in. One of the greatest places you'll ever steak. About yay thick and about that big around.
Okay.
It is. 1978, this old boy, a lot of people like this guy. He has a raspy blues kind of sound. He's different. He re-recorded a George Jones song. A lot of people thought, well, this is the first time I've ever heard this, and they thought it was new. But no, George Jones done it first. It was Tennessee Whiskey. Chris Stapleton, a big country star now. Mm-hmm. So if you're a big Stapleton fan, he's having a birthday today.
Chris Stapleton.
A lot of folks like that old boy. 1980, this guy would pass away. We all knew him as Mr. Drysdale. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember him? I liked him. It was a great show. Other things, a billionaire, and rarely do they get sent to jail for doing something wrong, but it did happen on this date back in 92. Who remembers the name Leona Hemsley? A little jail time, evading taxes. Uncle Sam took her on down to the pen.
Yeah.
Ground Zero is in Clarksdale there, Ryan said.
Clarksdale, yeah.
Appreciate
It
you.
started with a C.
As we look at things that also happened on this day, we touch back on country music. There would be a fight between the kids and the second husband. And who were we talking about? Tammy Wynette. And her body would be exhumed today as they checked into this to make sure that she wasn't murdered, that she wasn't poisoned. That happened on that. And then she was moved to a mausoleum after that. I don't want anybody digging me up, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to do that. But.
This is the chaos that we saw. A lot of chaos happened on this particular day as we go to April the 15th. It would be the marathon bombing back in 2013. The Boston is where that happened.
You know, and I think I understood that one of the doctors here from Meridian was there.
I didn't know that.
Running in that. So.
1990, I got my years out of place here, but this was really a funny comedy. And if you've never met the neighbor, Bonita, that was in this, and she told everything, and Living Color premiered on this date. That show was funny.
It was funny.
It was the Wayans brothers, or the
Yes.
Wayne brothers. How do you pronounce their name?
Damon Wayans and
Yeah, the other one.
yeah, they're funny. Though.
Yeah, they are. If you watch Game of Thrones, you'll know who this young lady is. The name I didn't recognize, but when I saw a picture, I went, aha, I do know her. 1997. Do you pronounce that Maisha Williams? Or Maisha?
Maisie.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Maisie. I don't know.
I'm thinking they should have named her Mary, but they didn't consult me there. Game of Thrones is where you know her from. Big deal. This is one of the best shows, and I promise you, if you have nothing to do, a little time this weekend. I don't know about the rest of the episodes because they changed and all the characters did. But this first episode, the first season of Fargo came on. It would have this guy here. Y'all remember him? Billy Bob Thornton?
Yes.
And also Martin Freeman. That was one of the absolute best shows I have ever watched. The twists, the turns of how a writer could even sit down and come up with how to hurt somebody like they did. Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds of bumping into a killer in the emergency room and he goes, "You want me to take care of him?" And you go, "Oh, sure." And then they go do it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It starts out. You remember how in high school some people are picked on? Well, it follows along. This guy's walking down the street and he bumps into somebody that picked on him in high school, and he's 40. And he's picking on the guy again in front of his kids to show that he can still do it.
Oh.
And he breaks his nose, and he's sitting in the emergency room, and Billy Bob Thornton is sitting next to him, and he goes, "Who done that to you?" And he names the guy, and he goes, "You want me to kill him?" And he goes, "Yeah." Well, he's a contract killer. He does it. And the show just goes on and on from there. You'll like it.
Oh goodness. I
Twist.
don't know. It's a little violent.
Oh, he was violent, but good. 2019, we watched this, and it was unbelievable what we were watching in history as this unfolded. The church burned, the Paris Cathedral, Notre Dame. You remember seeing that?
I do remember that. I remember a girl that I worked with had just gone there, and they had pictures and stuff from it. And it was before that happened, so right before it happened.
Tons of people would donate to have that restored. They're still in the process of rebuilding that.
Beautiful old church.
The name that I say you might not recognize, but you'll know him from the shows that he was in. He passed away on this date back in 2020. Brian Denny. You would also see him in The Blacklist. You would see him in Rambo as the sheriff that tried to arrest Rambo. And you would know him from Silverado, one of the greatest Westerns there ever was. But, yeah. That's a little walk down memory lane today of a few things that happened there. Hopefully it jogged your memory and made you smile. I hope so.
Yeah.
All right. We got more coming up. We don't want you to rush off because we got so much going on this morning. We want you to know as much as you absolutely can. Y'all stay close, and we'll be back with more information here in just a moment there. Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk.
H&H Residential of Meridian is your #1 carpet and flooring store. If you've been thinking of a new look for your home or office, call for a free estimate or consultation. H&H can install or you can do it yourself. H&H has all of your design needs from color, style, and texture. If you can dream it, H&H can make it a reality. Come see the large selection of hardwood flooring, laminate, vinyl, and even carpet. H&H Residential of Meridian, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, 321 Hawkins Crossing Road. Call Rosemary anytime, 601-462-9541.
And don't forget, if you've had a little damage here with storms lately, or maybe a deer jumping up on your car, see our friend Chet at Chet's Paint and Body for some of the best quality work around. It's Chet's Paint and Body there in Center Hill, where they'll take care of you. If you've had storm damage to your car or limb or whatever, see Chet. Call him at 737-2961, and he'll help you out there. Yeah. So how's everybody on this Good Friday?
I hope everybody's doing good. It's a beautiful day so far.
Yeah.
It is.
Dr. Pearson is the name, Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there at the Boston, I think he was at that Boston Marathon running. So.
Hope, I don't think he was, but that would have to be, how many miles is that thing?
I don't even know. I don't know. But isn't that where the brothers, those two brothers, did that bombing?
Cooker, pressure cooker. I know Tyson Pompea used to run these things all over the United States, those marathon runs, the Ironman where you got to do the swimming and the running. And bless you, Tyson, I don't do those.
It's like a what is that called?
Triathlon. Maybe so.
Where you run and swim and...
Yeah, good luck to y'all. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to be in the stands.
I wish I could, like, start jogging or something like that, but I don't know. If I'm running, something's after me.
That's the way it is with me. I wanted to address this. This was brought up. I got several texts yesterday of, hey, what's going on out at the park? And they were referring to Northeast Park. A couple had went out to go do their daily walk, and they said they got there, and it was blocked, and they wouldn't let it in. There were reports of, well, I don't think anybody really knew what was going on. Right. As I investigated with the police, it was a large group of people there. Let me word it that way.
Yeah.
It was reported at one time that these people may have guns. After the police got there, it was not. No one had any guns or anything, but it was like a senior skip day, so to speak. And I'm not talking 20 people, 30 people. It was a lot of people, probably 50 plus, somewhere along in there. First reported out being at Northeast Park, and then I think they moved to Bonita, and police checked everything out, and there was no crimes being broken. And also, I think they went even out to Oak Tibby.
Right.
But if you saw any of that, that is what it was. If that turns out to be anything different, we'll let you know. But as far as we know, it was just a skip day.
Right.
The official terminology for what I was told on all that.
And of course, we always welcome any information too.
Yeah.
If you have any information on anything,
we'll pass that along, right. And that's how we get our tips from y'all.
Yes.
Let's see here. I'm going to skip that story there. Did you see this yesterday? Let me show you the picture. And this happened without a doubt. Biden on stage after he gives his speech turns and shook an imaginary hand. He did it. It just, what in the world was going on?
I'm really concerned about this man. I really am, and I know that I don't agree with the stuff that he's done.
Here he goes. Watch this.
I really don't.
Oh, they cut it off on that one. But he turns and there ain't a soul there. Looks very confused as to where he's going to walk off from there.
It's really a scary thing to know that this is the leader of the free world. I mean, it really is. And, regardless if there's somebody behind the scenes calling the shots for him,
right?
They should be held accountable for having him up there doing this. I mean, allowing this to happen.
He's just the...
Because anybody could... I mean, he could blurt anything out at any time that could could be really detrimental, I think,
Yeah.
To our country and our security.
That video is easy to find. It's out there, and we'll leave it at that. But he did do that. No one is shocked on that. We look more at this Elon Musk thing. Do you think they're going to give in and give him and take his offer and he control Twitter?
I don't know.
It's a profit for every one of them.
I think they're going to say. I had a discussion yesterday with one of my clients about this.
What'd y'all
And we were
determine?
talking about it. And, he made the offer. He said, this is my final offer. If they don't accept it, we gathered that possibly he could pull his shares out of, I don't know. If they don't, but I had heard that they were not going to accept it.
Is that before he actually made the cash offer or when he just said, hey, I'd like to buy it?
This is after
he made the cash offer.
Yeah, after the cash offer. So, I don't know. I mean, he could end up getting it for a lot less than what he offered because if it starts plummeting.
Yeah, he could take them down. We'll see what goes on with this. Now, he would turn this over to a free speech business is what he claims would happen. I'm sure they don't want that.
I think a lot of us would agree that it does need to be redone. I mean, because there's a lot of people who don't want to speak out because they know they're going to be bashed or harassed or blocked or whatever, that Twitter's been doing. They can't even give their opinion.
Yeah, I'm not there. You're not.
If you don't agree, if they don't agree with your opinion won't be known.
No. Do you see this where cats, this pretty thing, say that they have done studies there where cats know their name and they recognize other cats by their meow. Now, who put the money in this to study this? I don't know, but it's kind of common if you call a pet and it comes to you, well, it knows its name.
Right.
But they spent research money to prove it. Yeah, so I thought you might want to know that. Texas has dropped that second bus load. Texas, they're not putting up with it. They roll them right to Washington. Will they probably be trying to be stopped on this from delivering more? I can see that happening. But they've gotten 2 bus loads to Washington of migrants.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll continue.
Maybe even this might even be the third. I don't know.
This is moving into the third day. Yeah, it could be 3.
And DeSantis, I think, has maybe done the same thing. I know he's talked about it, but they were going to Delaware.
As we look at other things that are going on, we did have a Republican go on down to Ukraine to visit. Now Biden says, well, I think I'll go too now. They're releasing that. We'll see that. It kind of looks bad when the president won't go, but somebody from the Senate goes. Yeah. And then you've got England that's already had their, yeah, buddy. So there we go. That's a few of the headlines that are making there. Trump says he knows he's a little bit overweight, but who cares? I'm too busy to lose weight, he says. He even told Dr. Oz that during one of his speeches there in Pennsylvania. 208 pounds. There's a lot of people that weigh that.
He's tall, though, too.
He's 6-ish, 6'1", somewhere along there.
Looks very tall. I have no idea what his height is, but...
The Don. Well, I don't think you're going to see him. He eats it, just like us, regular food.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I think that people identified with him over. He went to some big fancy restaurant. No, he was getting a hamburger just like you and I do when they're on the run.
Yeah.
And so he looks a lot like us now.
Maybe he eats late.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Those things do happen there. All right, we got more coming up with Scotty Ray and Candace. Stay close. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel.
Coming home from work, I was involved in a multi-car wreck. I never saw it coming. It was obvious that I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home. And if you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
I'm Laura from Columbus, Mississippi, and it took one call and that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz, and he got me $250,000.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
Welcome back. So are y'all getting ready for one of the biggest Easter egg hunts ever at your house?
I don't know. Alden wants to do one. We bought some plastic eggs yesterday, so we're going to do a little bit of something. Probably do it this evening.
Easy way out.
Yeah. We're probably going to do it this evening. I thought about doing the dying eggs, but I don't know. That's so messy.
Thank y'all for joining. Watch the weather with us as we'll stay on top of this. Level 1 tomorrow and Easter Sunday, a level 2 for severe weather.
That's right. Have a blessed weekend.
And remember what it's all about. Jesus. Y'all remember that.
Yes.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: